An athletic director in Maryland has just been arrested after framing his high school's principal with AI voice cloning technology to make it seem like the principal said some racist things. The athletic director's name is Dazan Darian, and he was apparently trying to get back at the principal because he was at risk of getting fired by the school. The principal had expressed concerns over Darian's work performance, including a theft investigation involving allegations that Darian had paid his roommate using school funds, police said. So Darian used AI to create a fake secret recording of the principal. His name is Eric Eiswert. Let's take a listen to that recording.
You know, I seriously don't understand why I have to constantly put up with these dumbasses here every day. Between these ungrateful black kids who can't test their way out of a paper bag, or these teachers who don't get it, how hard is it to get these students to meet their grade level expectations? Lawrence and Ravenel should have never been hired. And don't let me get started on DJ. I'm gonna drag his black ass out of here one way or another. I'm gonna get something to stick. I'm just so sick of the inadequacies of these people. And if I have to get one more complaint from one more Jew in this community, I'm gonna join the other side.
The side of non-Jews, I guess, is where he's gonna join. What's amazing about stories like this is not just that the repercussions this principal suffered, but the racist statements obviously came from the person who then created the script for that. So he's not only guilty of this crime, but also of blatant racism and anti-Semitism. The fallout from this recording was enormous. It was immense. Eiswert, the principal, has been on paid administrative leave since it was released. He and his family received a torrent of threatening messages. The school also received hateful social media messages and calls. Teachers at the school felt unsafe because they feared they might be recorded too. The school had to increase police presence on campus. But as soon as the investigation started, Eiswert maintained his innocence and pointed a finger at Darian, who Eiswert knew was good with technology, thus revealing that the principal was not good at technology, perhaps his only crime. And the clues kept coming from there. He allegedly used school computers to access OpenAI tools and Microsoft Bing chat services. He was also linked to the audio's release via an email address and associated recovery phone number. Criminal of the year. Experts said that the recording, which briefly resulted in Eiswert's suspension, has a flat tone, unusually clean background sounds, and lack of consistent breathing sounds or pauses. I like that the unbelievable part was the lack of breathing and not the racist statements from the principal. Darian was arrested yesterday morning on charges of stalking, theft, disruption of school operations, and retaliation against a witness. He was released on bond that same day, and his trial date is set for June 11th. Miriam Rogers, the superintendent of Baltimore County Public Schools, stated that we are taking appropriate action regarding Darian's conduct up to and including a recommendation for termination. All the way up to firing the guy who framed the principal? My God, way to take a stand. Hani Farid, a professor at the University of California, Berkeley, who specializes in digital forensics, summed up the case well when he said, what's so particularly poignant here is that this is a Baltimore school principal. This is not Taylor Swift. It's not Joe Biden. It's not Elon Musk. It's just some guy trying to get through his day. It shows you the vulnerability, how anybody can create this stuff and they can weaponize it against anybody. This is so true. This is the exact fear that so many of us have had since the already exponential growth of AI capabilities. We're all in big trouble. There's not gonna be a very solid way to know truth from fiction already, let alone just around the corner. I saw a video today on Instagram of a guy that is having a conversation with his AI video clone, and it is impossible to tell. And the clone read all of the guy's books and his public records and his public speeches for years and was able to answer as him in live, real time. I'm not sure if the video was live or if it was recorded and edited together, but it was frightening already.
Pausing here to deliver some honest truth as we do in our news coverage as well. TYT is facing challenges, guys, as the entire industry is. You know who could make the difference? You. If you hit the join button below, it's gonna make all the difference and keep us in business. We appreciate you, thank you.
Speaking of frightening, Brett, your commentary.
I will say that the least believable, like I love that the person was writing, like the thing we noticed was this was very unbelievable because of the technology was so bad. BS, man, when I listened to that, I was like, this sounds like a person's recording. Like it sounded amazing. So amazing that like after that guy serves his term and is no longer, in prison or whatever for the crimes he's been, accused of, and if he goes to prison, he should come back and run the computer science department. Because that was, I try to use AI all the time to do stuff. We on Happy Half Hour, we just played a game where we were guessing what movie it was based on me feeding the log line into Bing Image Creator, and it would spit, and that was really fun, and it was terrible. This was something that went as far as to get someone fired. You're right, it's absolutely terrifying. Jackson?
You got to figure out your skill set some type of way. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you'll arrive at knowing and understanding who you are in unconventional paths. But I think there's a lot of ways to look at this. One, AI is definitely of concern, but just like anything else, there's pros and cons. At the end of the day, I personally don't believe that, Skynet's going to take over the world or anything like that. And that's a whole nother level of, just getting framed for saying things. I think there's always going to be an off switch on top of the fact that we're already seeing examples like this one of people being framed for things that they didn't say or didn't do. But I think that at the end of the day, there's likely always going to be some type of way to prove that this was or was not you. Now, this is a bigger deal, as was pointed out, for everyday people. Like for people like us who have YouTube channels and stuff, if something goes out, then it's like, okay, well, if it didn't come from my page, it's not me. That's simple enough. But for stuff like this, if you don't have the money to pay for a defense attorney, it could land you in trouble. But at the end of the day, if it goes to court, you're going to have to prove that this is you or not. So like, I think it'll be a problem, but I don't think it'll be like that unsolvable at the end of the day, especially since we're seeing examples of what can happen and people getting caught. So
I disagree with you on that, Jackson. I want to get to work immediately on trying to clone your voice to prove my point. But it really is, as I see it, as the future unfolds in the very short near term, it depends on if the governments of the world are able to crack down and regulate this like they should have already done years ago when the threat was first coming out, because there very well may not be ways to tell if video and audio is faked. This is just the nascent, I don't know which, nascent, thank you. The nascent examples of it. It's gonna get better, it's gonna become more undetectable. I know there's legislation to have companies have to say if something's been altered, but if those are not ironclad, if those are not passed everywhere around the world, there will not be a way to do that. And it'll affect elections, it'll affect people's lives, it'll affect people's criminal histories, it will take people down, and it will make us just live in a completely chaotic place. So even if there's a way to turn it off, which I don't know that there is, once computers get the ability to be able to, overrule things as they get to write their own code, they'll be able to overrule human decisions and directives. But even still, even aside from that, there will just be some things that will not be found out, and lives will be ruined, and countries will be ruined in the process.
Right, it's crazy because it really, there's so much in the internet, our discourse today of this single theme of what is real, even without the AI of it all. AI is just one part. Like for AI, there's two issues. Is it really me, this stuff that we're talking about, and then will it kill us? The will it kill us, obviously, yes it will. But is it me? But in the meantime, the fun show we're playing out right now is what is real? And this AI stuff, and then Elon Musk changing the blue check marks to things you can buy for $8, and then people are renaming it fake things. This is a very real question, and the problem that I find is so few people are actually taking the conversation seriously. I think it's a fascinating conversation. I think so many people should come to the table and talk about it. What kind of AI use is good? What kind of AI use is bad? But right now, most people that I see having a conversation about any of this AI blue check check marks, anything on the internet is just a nefarious grifter conversation where they're looking and saying, "Oh, you guys are in the pockets of big tech if you want to, do one thing when it comes to making sure things are real, or you're just completely into the wasteland and we don't need to know anything that's real because that benefits their own financial interests." That's the part where I genuinely don't know the answer, but what I do know for certain is that so many people who are considered to be at the forefront of it, fighting for our rights and whatnot, are just not genuinely talking about it.
I agree with you completely.
I definitely agree that the worst aspects and elements will be things, as Ben pointed out, that can run away for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then by the time you reel it back in, the damage may be done. Especially for things like short-term elections or short-term decisions that need to be made.
And the word,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Why?
No, I'm just saying. I think that was the strongest point in terms of like what's most dangerous, especially in the near future.
And I don't begrudge the big tech companies. They have this like mentality of, well, fail early, fail often, fail as much as you can. And then it negatively affects everybody. Like when it comes to what the big internet social media companies have done, we have this terribly negative fallout. But they come back and be like, look at all the learnings we got from it. And we're just like, we're living in a cesspool of the end of discourse is as healthy society might want it to be known. And you guys are like, yeah, but the 2.0 is gonna be fantastic. They're all like the guy who runs Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
As we're all just like hemorrhaging integrity, people's jobs are getting, principals are getting fired. And it's like, next time it'll be flawless.
Yeah, he bought regular ice cream and he's like, I spared no expense. And he's had a regular off switch for like the fence that kept the dinosaurs from killing Jeff Goldblum and Laura Dern. It's a real problem. You got shaken water, and you know what that reminds you of? The T-Rex is coming. And it's a perfect confluence. The T-Rex being Donald Trump with just the technology being created by the Jurassic Park guy is that perfect marriage, a perfect horrible storm of a person that became the first person to just really truly call BS on anything, any fact he didn't like, and now technologies that match that. I think you're gonna see a lot of it during the next 6 months before this election, and God forbid an elections forward. So you gotta hope that people that are aware of this problem, that understand it, and that care about truth win office and can hopefully pass legislation that can reel this in to whatever degree it's not too late.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.